everyone, and welcome back to another Schmeat video. I promised a video and a big trade went down. Not a big trade as in James Harden going to the Philadelphia 76ers for Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and I believe 2 first-round picks. Not that big of a trade, but if you're looking at it from the Hornets' perspective, it's pretty big. We get a reliable, keyword is reliable, center. And although it's not this big presence down low, as in like a 7'1", force down low, he is only 6'8", and that's Montrezl Harrell. And most importantly, we get him for cheap. We didn't have to give away PJ Washington, which I was afraid of if we got one of these centers who aren't named, like Miles Turner or Christian Wood. I was afraid we'd overtrade for a mid center, I guess. So getting Montrezl Harrell for Ish Smith and Vernon Carey Jr. is such a steal. The Wizards get back Ish Smith, who was just on their team, I believe. I believe Ish Smith, yes, in 2019 as well, he was on their team. In 2015, he was on their team as well. Ish Smith, just looking at Ish Smith's teams is crazy. This is a little sidetrack, but it goes Rockets, Grizzlies, Warriors, Magic, Bucks, Suns, Thunder, 76ers, back to the Rockets, Pelicans, 76ers, back to them, Wizards, Pistons. So anyways, Ish Smith has had a crazy ride in the NBA, but him being back in the Wizards, and also them getting Vernon Carey Jr., I guess they're taking a flyer on a young big, even though they kind of hit. I believe they traded for Daniel Gafford, for Troy Brown Jr., so they kind of already have a young center, so I'm not sure why they are doing this trade. I know his contract is up soon. Maybe they didn't want to trade him if they kept him around. He only signed a 1-year contract with the Wizards initially for about $10 million. Now he is an unrestricted free agent next season. So ideally we would keep him around for about the same amount he's getting right now, $10 million. But at worst, he is a 30-game rental for us. But this is big. I've been harping getting us an actual center for about a year now. Mason Plumlee does not count, and I know what you guys are thinking. He is 7'1". He's a center. He has that position. I'm not talking about that. When people hear the name Montrezl Harrell, they know the presence he demands down low. And that is not the same with Mason Plumlee at all. Montrezl Harrell is one of those guys around the league that's known as being this tough-nosed player. And for the Hornets, I think that's what they really need down low. They don't need a finesse person. They don't need a guy who is going to do a lot of things down there. They just need a reliable center. And looking at his stats, he obviously hasn't had his most productive season per se, but it's still 14 points, 65% shooting, 7 rebounds per game, 2 assists, almost a block a game. He's doing pretty good. And obviously he's not back to his Clippers days where he was scoring, I think, almost 19 points a game like 2 or 3 seasons ago, but he's still a competitive, reliable center that we need for this eventual playoff push. And I really hope the Hornets make it to the playoffs and show America really that we are a force to be reckoned with. And overall, this trade, I can't say enough good things about. We weren't going to keep Vernon Carey around anyways. We probably weren't going to keep Ish Smith around anyways. This opens the door for James Bouknight to have more minutes. And we get a reliable center. This trade is an A+ trade for us. I'm not really certain why the Wizards do this. Obviously, they had a great start to the season, and they've kind of hindered off in these coming weeks, just like us, I guess, because we have lost, I think, 5 straight. If I look at the Eastern Conference standings real quick to check where we're at, I believe we're in the play-in. Yes, we are at the 9th seed right now. The Wizards are 11, so they're in the play-in as well. But it's really interesting. The Nets fall all the way down to 8. They were first in the East at one point. The Heat are number 1, 2 games ahead of the Bulls now. The Cavs are number 3 ahead of the Bucks. This Eastern Conference is kind of crazy. If we look at the Western Conference, the Grizzlies are above the Jazz, Mavericks, and Nuggets. The Timberwolves are all the way at the 7th seed. This NBA season is crazy. Obviously, things are going to get shook around with the 76ers with the addition of James Harden. They lose a little bit of shooting with Seth Curry and some presence down low with Andre Drummond. But overall, let's hype it back to the main part of this video. We get Montrezl Harrell, and we should be a better team. We had a guy that was in the G League and a guy that played 5 minutes, a night for us, depart from our team, and we get back a guy that's playing 25 minutes a night that's going to be impactful for us. That's just a recipe for a good trade. And again, I don't know what the Wizards are really thinking. I think they could have got maybe a couple of second-round picks, even maybe a first-round pick for Montrezl Harrell, because Montrezl Harrell, how old is he? How old is Montrezl Harrell? He is 28 years old. He is not even close to like retiring or anything. He's still, kind of in his prime. Obviously, this opens the door for one of their other trade acquisitions, Kristaps Porzingis, to kind of shine in that power forward centered position. But I guess you could say they won one of their trades with their Kristaps for Spencer Dinwiddie, Davis Bertans, and a second, I believe. And then they lose this trade. So they were pretty even for the Wizards. But for the Hornets, very good trade. Very good trade. There was talks about PJ Washington, Kai Jones, and a first-round pick for Jakob Poeltl of the Sacramento Spurs. I was not a fan of that at all. That was, in my eyes, that was an overpay or an overtrade, I guess. I know Jakob Poeltl is a top 3 defensive center in the NBA, but I just don't know. I don't watch that many Spurs games, so I don't know if that's worth it for Jakob Poeltl. A first-round pick, PJ Washington, who's been productive for us, and Kai Jones, a promising big. I thought that was a little bit of an overpay, so I'm glad we did this trade. I am really glad, and I think we are one of those teams that after the trade deadline, we can say we got better, and we didn't jeopardize any of our future for that. So that's the video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.